Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we're gonna start with common factors today. And if you've not subscribed, please do so and turn on the notification bell so that when I upload new videos, you'll be the first person to know. So we're going to talk about common factors as one of the methods of factorization and solving for quadratic equations. And please review previous videos, it's very important. And especially review the previous video in algebra, how to find the highest common factor. So it's very important you do that. So let's get into it. How do you do it? There are 5 rules here, okay? There are 5 things to keep in mind when doing this, or 5 steps. Number 1, you have to take out the highest common factor and you then place it in front of the bracket. Is that okay? So you take out the highest common factor and place it in front, okay, of the bracket. So you get the highest common factor and you place it in front of the what? Of the bracket. Then when you've done that, then you now divide each term with the highest common factor and you now write the answer inside the bracket. Is that okay? Then you now divide each term with the highest common factor. And write it inside the bracket. Okay? Then when you've done that, the third thing you then have to do is then you rewrite the expression, all right? Then you rewrite the expressions. So at this point now, you're done with factorization, but usually you will have to then find the value for x. So that's why we then have step 4 and 5. Then you have to equate the element outside the bracket and inside the bracket to be equal to 0. So equate the elements outside and the element inside separately to be equal to 0. Then number 5, when you've done that, you now simplify and find for the value of x. Yep, so that's what you do. So you take the highest common factor and you place it inside the bracket. You divide each of them, then you rewrite the expression, equate the element outside to be equal to 0, equate the one inside the bracket to be equal to 0, and you simplify. All right, let me pick an example to explain what I'm trying to talk about. So let's say we have number 1, let's say we have this 30x squared plus 3x is equal to 0. I want to use the common factor method here. So step 1, okay, so let's follow it. Step 1, we said we should find the highest common factor and place it outside the bracket. So what is the common factor between both of them? The highest is 3x. And we're going to place it outside the bracket. Are you seeing it? Step 2. So please review the video on how to find the highest common factor, okay? So review the video. So the highest common factor is the maximum or the highest number that can divide both terms or all the expressions. Is that okay? Then the next one is that we are told that we have to divide each term with the highest common factor and write it inside the bracket. So we're going to have 3x. The first one is 30x squared divided by 3x plus 3x divided by 3x. We write it inside the bracket. Step 3, then we write the expression. So we simplify. So that will give us step 3, 3x into bracket. What to be left? X to cancel that. So to give you 10x plus 1. Now, factorization is done. But usually, they will ask you to solve, right? So you can't stop here. So go to step 4. Now, step 4 now said you have to equate the element outside the bracket to be separately as well as that is inside the bracket, but equate them to be equal to 0, okay? So you equate the element outside and the element inside separately, and you equate them to be equal to 0. Now the element outside, so we have 3x, 10x plus 1. So it's going to be the one outside the bracket is 3x is equal to 0. The one inside the bracket is 10x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then step 5, simplify, and you find for x. So that means step 5. So we'll simplify. So 3x is equal to 0. To find x, divide both sides by 3. So therefore, x is equal to 0. Are you seeing it? Then the next one, we have 10x plus 1 is equal to 0. Take 1 to the other side. So we're going to take 1 to the other side there. So we're having 10x is equal to minus 1. Divide both sides by 10. So therefore, x is going to be, so this will cancel that. This will cancel this. X is going to be equal to minus 1 over 10. So the answer for this, so x is equal to 0 or minus 1 over 10. Is this making sense? So the first thing, you get the highest common factor. Then you divide each term, you write it there. Then you equate the elements inside the bracket to be equal to 0. The element outside the bracket to be equal to 0. All right? Let me pick one more example for this, and then we'll go to the next method. Let's say we have x squared minus 7x is equal to 0. X squared minus 7x is equal to 0. Now, the first thing, step 1, we need to look for the highest common factor between both of them. And the highest common factor is x. And you open a bracket. Step 2, we then have to divide each term with the highest common factor. So it's going to be x squared divided by x minus 7x divided by what? X. Then step 3, you now rewrite the expression and simplify. So it's going to be x squared divided by x will give you x. 7x divided by x will give you minus 7. Okay? That means we're done with factorization, but usually they will ask you to solve, okay? So if it's factorization, you have to just stop here. But if they say find the value for x, you then have to go to step 4 and 5. So step 4, we then have to equate each of these to be equal to 0. So that means we're going to have x is equal to 0 and x minus 7 is equal to 0. Then step 5, we are meant to then simplify. So the first one, x is equal to 0, has been done for us. Then x minus 7 is equal to 0. You take 7 to the other side. So therefore, x is going to be equal to 7. So that means for this question, x will be equal to 0 or x is equal to what? 7. And that's how you do it. And that's how you solve questions with what? Common factors. All right? You take out the highest common factor, you place it in front of the brackets, you then divide, then you rewrite the expression and simplify. You can just add simplify here if needed. All right, so you can write if needed, depending the question. Then after that, you equate each of the elements outside and that inside to be equal to 0. Then you then what? Simplify. All right. Thank you very much. So we'll go to the next video, which is going to be the difference of two squares. All right. So remember the factorization method has 4. We have the common factors, difference of two squares, trinomial equal to 1, trinomial not equal to 1. All right, so the next one I'm going to talk about now is the difference of two squares. All right, so if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email, or you can message me or put it in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video where we talk about the difference of two squares.